As your Australian bestie who's addicted to reading romance, drinking coffee and buying books, I'm here to announce and to let you know that it's okay to treat yourself, which is what I've done recently. As you can tell from the title, your girl has gone book shopping, and I want to sit down and show you guys all the books that I have recently purchased / received in the mail, and we're gonna have a good old time. We're just gonna have fun, bitch. We're just gonna talk, chit chat, flash our book covers off. Let's get started with this first stack. I do have 2 stacks of books I want to talk about and show off today. If you've read any of these, let me know in the comments below your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. That's why I do these videos. I like to hear what you guys think if you have read any of these. You guys know I love Freida McFadden. When I read The Housemaid, it fully changed my fucking life. One of my favorite thriller writers ever. I feel like she's the perfect thriller author if you are a romance girly, because a lot of the time she can merge romance into her thrillers, and I really enjoy that because I'm not someone that can read a lot of thrillers back to back, and the thrillers I do read and love always kind of have that like romantic aspect to them. Anyway, I picked up The Co-Worker, which is one of her new releases. I have been eyeing off The Teacher. I don't know how correct I am on this, but I'm pretty sure I heard someone say that The Teacher is a story about a high school student and her teacher, like her professor. So instantly, me being a sick, twisted bitch, is intrigued about that story. But when I was searching for it, I couldn't find it, and I found The Co-Worker instead, which has amazing reviews. I did actually start reading this not long ago, a few weeks ago actually, but I'm just not in my thriller mood, so I put it down. I don't like to make a decision on the books that I read, if I don't like them or not, if I'm not connecting with the genre at the time. So I will circle back and continue on reading this when the time is right and I feel like I need some Freida in my life. So The Co-Worker is about Natalie, who works in like a corporate job in like a cubicle, and she has this co-worker called Dawn, who she has studied throughout the time of working at this job, and she has noticed that Dawn is a very particular person. She's very odd. There's some strange things about her, but she's learnt her routine. So Dawn is a very punctual person when it comes to time, and one day she doesn't come to work. She hasn't called in sick or anything like that. So Natalie instantly is like, what the fuck's happened to Dawn? Something's off. This isn't right. Natalie starts bringing it up to people that she's working with. Like, have you heard from Dawn? Don't you think it's weird Dawn hasn't come in? Blah, blah, blah. That's all I've read so far. Like, it sounds really good. I'm intrigued to find out what has happened to Dawn. But again, I'm just not in the mood to read a thriller right now. But I'm excited. Freida, as I said, amazing. I love her shit so fucking much. Like, she deserves all the hype. Romance girlies that don't read thrillers, try her, please. Especially if you're someone that liked Verity from Colleen Hoover, you will love Freida's work. And she's very versatile. All her thrillers are super different. And I also find with Freida that I can never fucking predict her plot twists. Like, ever. And that is a strong statement to make because I am very good at predicting things, especially when it comes to reading a thriller. The Silent Patient is famous for being like the most unpredictable plot twist ever. I predicted that fucking story and that plot twist from the get-go. So I don't know what that says about me. Next up, we have Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So I've been eyeing this off for quite some time now because the hype is real, baby. Everyone is screaming and crying at how good this fucking book is. I was umming and ahhing if I was gonna buy the paperback just because I'm not a big fan of the cover, but it was only $12, so I got it anyway. And because I'm in like my fantasy era right now, everyone was suggesting this to me because it is a arranged marriage between a vampire and a werewolf. I will let you in on a little bit of a secret. I'm not a fan of like werewolves. Any other mystical, magical creature, I'm here for. I just don't find werewolves like hot. Like, I don't know what it is, bitch. Okay, don't come for me. If you are a werewolf shifter lover, I have started reading this and I'm not a fan so far. Hear me out, okay? I haven't read anything from Ali Hazelwood. I have bought her books in the past, but just never read them. I'm not familiar with her writing style, her stories. I just am someone that's never read her stuff before. Her writing style in this, I don't really like it, and I'm really particular with writing styles. The story has to flow. The writing has to flow. Every author's writing style is different. Like, I find with Jessa Hastings, for instance, her writing style for me does not flow. And that's her style, and a lot of people love that style, and that's great. For me personally, if a writing style doesn't flow, it takes me out of the story, and I struggle to read it, and that's just the honest truth. I did like the beginning. I like how the arranged marriage is set up. I just don't know if I will continue on with it. I really want to. Every bitch and their mother is rating this 5 fucking stars. I want to be like that too. Will I continue on with it? I don't know, but I do have the paperback. Next up we have Love Contract from Sophie Lark. So this was actually sent to me by Sophie, so thank you so much. I haven't read something from Sophie in a long time, and the last thing that I did read from her was Grimstone, and I was not a fan. I unfortunately disliked that book. This is the first book in the new Love Contract series that Sophie is writing, I believe, from what I've gathered. Could be wrong because I haven't done a lot of research on it. It's kind of like a workplace romance. It's giving off very much Lauren Asher vibes. I don't know if you're getting that from the cover and just the style of book, but it is to me. Not that I've read anything from Lauren Asher yet, but just like looking at her covers, the title of her books and stuff, it's giving off Lauren Asher vibes, which is totally fine. Like, authors can write the same shit, I don't care. But I'm just saying, like, I'm getting those vibes. So yeah, I got the ARC as well as the paperback, and I'm intrigued to dive into this when I'm in my mood for this type of romance. Like right now, we're dark fantasy era. Some of these books I won't get to for a very long time, but that doesn't matter. I buy books not to read them straight away. There are some books on my shelves that I bought 5 years ago and I still have not read them. But that's fine because it's an at-home library. Like if I feel like reading a paperback and picking up a book, I look at my shelves and I pick one that I haven't read. So I'm constantly filling it with new titles and new stories and plots to, you know, keep my bookshelf fresh. These 2 books were sent to me by an author called Morgan Page. She reached out to me and said, hey babe, can I please send you these books of mine that I have recently released? And I said, sure thing. So she's an indie author. I don't know anything about these, so I'll just read out the blurb so you guys can, you know, decide if you would like to check it out for yourself. So this blurb is from Hate You Up Close. A new job, a new city. This was supposed to be a fresh start for me. I expected the move to come with challenges, but no one could have prepared me for him. My new boss, Elliot Thompson. He's cold, selfish, miserable, and the most gorgeous man I've ever laid eyes on. I hate that he smells of whiskey and leather. I hate that his eyes remind me of the sun. I call him the golden boy, but he's hiding a dark past. Beneath his perfect exterior, something is eating him alive. A devastating secret that he's kept bottled up for years. For some insane reason, I want to be the person to discover what he's keeping in the dark. I will be the woman to break Elliot Thompson. This feels like a bit of a workplace romance, and the second book, Love You From Afar, says, I always thought a person had to be a ghost to haunt you, but Everett Thompson is very much alive, and to make matters worse, he's my fiance's brother. Wait, is this like a book 2 to the first book? I'm confused. I don't know if this is like book 2 to the first book, but both heroes have the same last name, and this heroine has said it's her fiance's brother. I don't know. For years, I promised myself I would stay away from him. I tried putting as much distance between us as possible. Here we are on a road trip together. With each mile that passes, I'm reminded of that night under the stars, the night that changed my life forever. Before the trip started, ground rules were set that we both agreed to follow, but the further we drive into the mountains, the more rules we seem to break. He's always been my greatest weakness, and he's only gotten harder to resist over time. For 3 years, I've tried to douse the fire burning between us, but I fear this trip will be all it takes to send everything up in flames. It's sounding a bit like a forced proximity kind of situation, and a little bit taboo because it's her fiance's brother. Stop it. Hold your damn horses, ho. This book I've been wanting to read for months. One Dark Window. This is a fantasy novel that you have probably seen all over Instagram, all over BookTok and BookTube. This was recommended to me a while ago now by my friend Audrey, so I could be incorrect yet again, but from what I've gathered, this is meant to be like a dark fantasy, kind of like the Handmaid's Tale or whatever it's called, and because I recently read Manacled, fucking masterpiece of a fan fiction, if you know, you know, we'll be talking about it very fucking soon. I thought this might be the perfect book to read. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this, if you are about it. I know Tanya, one of my girls on Instagram, she has read it and she loved it. It is a duet, so there is 2 books. This is only the first book, obviously. I am excited. The 7 Year Slip I picked up the other day because I absolutely love The Dead Romantics by the same author. The author is Ashley Poston. I've seen The 7 Year Slip everywhere. And you know, it is a bit of a vanilla kind of mainstream romance. Just because I am reading fantasy and I love myself some dark romance, bitch, it doesn't mean that I am opposed to a mainstream vanilla romance. Like, what do you mean? Good palette cleanser. And I think this would be something nice to break up in between all the darkness and the fantasy. It may be a winner, bitch. When I read The Dead Romantics, I really liked the author's writing style, so I can't see why I wouldn't like her writing style in this book. The thing about this author, which I picked up in The Dead Romantics, I didn't actually predict what that book was going to be. I thought it was going to be like this fluffy fucking thing, and it was kind of dark, but not at the same time. Like, it was twisty, it was dark, it was paranormal, and I loved it. Why is this dude living 7 years in the past? Is he a ghost? Is he stuck in the past because of time travel or something? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I could be reaching here and you've read it and you're like, bitch, no, you're not correct. You're not correct at all. When I came across this the other day, I spoke about it on Instagram. I had to let my Instagram host know that I found Lovers in Auschwitz, which I can't say ever, and I'm so sick of saying it incorrectly. The Tattooist of Auschwitz is one of my favorite books of all time, and when I read that at the beginning of 2023, it changed my life. It definitely adjusted the chemicals in my fucking brain. And I loved that book so fucking much, which is actually a TV show now, and I really need to watch it. When I stumbled across this, I was like, is this going to give me the same fucking vibes as Gita and Lali? I don't touch my World War II historical fiction novels unless I'm in a really bad slump and I'm not in the mood for anything. So this will be going up onto the bookshelf, into the archives, bitch, until I am ready for it. Zippy. What a name. Zippy and David's story began when they first locked eyes across the work floor. It was the start of a romance that could have unfolded anywhere if it weren't for one key difference. Zippy and David were prisoners in history's most infamous death camp. David and Zippy defied the odds of surviving for years beneath the ash-choked skies of Auschwitz. But as the war's end drew to a near, little did they know just how far their lives would diverge and how many years would pass before they would meet again. Oh, wow. So they found love, war ended, they were released and lost each other? Oh, no, and they had to find their way back. No way. This sounds so fucking good. So good. For my historical fiction girlies, check this out. Even though it's meant to be based on a true story, I don't know if it says on the cover, a true story. Also, we've got another thriller. Rachel Hawkins, she wrote The Wife Upstairs. Please read that thriller if you haven't already. This is a recent release. I love the fucking cover. There's something about this cover that is just beautiful and divine and just everything more. So I had to purchase it. I did get it from my local bookstore. Why is there dust on it? That's a long fucking blurb. We're not reading that. We're not reading that. That is too many words for me, bitch. Too many words for me. The Heiress. Yep. I'm excited. I'm excited to read this. I love Rachel Hawkins. She's underrated. You don't see anyone really talk about her. I feel like what I've read from her, very similar to Frida. Like, if you're a romance girly, you're going to love her thrillers. So I suggest you check out Rachel Hawkins if you haven't already. Listen, A Court of Thorns and Roses has still not left me. And so many of you have said, girl, you need to get on Throne of Glass. And I thought, bitch, that's so many books, so many books. But I listened and I bought the whole fucking box set. Let's go through them. I've seen so many different reading orders. Assassin's Blade, when you buy the actual box set, this is the first book and it's, you know, marketed to read first. But so many people have said, do not read this first and read this third into the series. So I think I'm going to do that. But we've got Throne of Glass, which is the first book, and then Crown of Midnight, and then you read Assassin's Blade. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We have The Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. I'm really excited. But again, you guys have told me that the first two books are extremely hard to get through and you have to push through them. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to try and start Throne of Glass and read like another book on the side so that like I don't get fucking slumped if it's that difficult to read. Is it possible I could listen to it? Like, does Throne of Glass have an audio? I need to look into it. We need to figure out how I'm going to start myself off. I'm so excited because, you know, people say A Court of Thorns and Roses, yes. Perfection. We love it. We love to see it. But Throne of Glass is a whole experience. There's no going back. It is a big series. I'm intimidated. I'm not going to lie to you. I am intimidated. I don't know if I want to read a little bit more fantasy before I try this, or if I should get into this now before I burn out on fantasy, because that is also a possibility. I don't know what I'm going to read now. I don't know. I'm feeling so slumped after fucking Draco and Hermione. Bitch, please. I almost sat down today to film doing my makeup just to talk about that book, that fan fiction I just recently read. Don't be fucking rude. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and also leave a comment down below if you've read any of these. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you next. Bye.